Okay, first injury, first real, I guess, competitive session. I've done real judo, but that was like an actual competitive session. It's also like 20 past 10 at night. So, lessons learned. Lesson one, I shouldn't, like in the dojo, in the gym, I should take more water. I should drink more water beforehand. Uh, and lesson two, don't get stood on because toes hurt. Yeah, so my left foot now really hurts because I managed to, I got a blue belt down, but they were much bigger than me. But they were off balance, and as they tried to break themselves, they stood on my toe, and it really hurt, and it still hurts, and it's swollen. So first injury, not great. Tomorrow I have a break day ish, but I was planning on doing some judo on Friday. We will see how my foot feels. But yeah, and then we'll go from there. And I need to do the trampoline stuff anyway. On Wednesdays though, which is today, I do trampoline beforehand. So I set up the trampolines, I coach for basically 2 hours, and then I pack up trampolines. That's quite physically demanding. Then I drive half an hour to judo. That's what I did today, just to test. And I kind of went with like 30% left in the tank. It was hot anyway, and it was okay. Like the first part of the session was okay. It was challenging. It was good. It was repetitive on movements, but I was trying to take in as many things as I could. I didn't really grasp or understand why or how to apply a lot of the things before, which is what I've said about other judo sessions. It's the decontextualized training is really hard to put into practice. Then I did some, I guess, more like resistance work with a few people, so I could kind of feel them fighting back. Then I did some groundwork, and that was very different, but there was a lot of resistance. That's where I felt like I had the opportunity to learn, but because there wasn't any, so the way I would describe this ecologically, when I say ecologically, I'm talking about ecological dynamics. There wasn't an obvious win condition for either individual, and there was no constraints. It was just, hey, you're now on the floor, try and get the person on their back, which is fine. But as someone that's had no experience with it, we were doing this for 3 minutes with one partner. The person I was with, one had done BJJ before, which is a lot of on the floor grappling. They were a red belt, so they were the belt above me, and they'd also been doing judo a lot longer. And so when I was there, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm in a good position, but I have no idea how to get this person on their back. Like, I just genuinely don't know, because every time I tried to do something, they countered it. So they were putting in their best practice, and I was trying to put my best practice in, but I wasn't getting anywhere because my win condition, as you get the person on the back, was nigh on impossible for me to do. But I could defend. But once I got out, which again, the only reason I could get out is because I was kind of being a turtle. Like, I just didn't. All I knew is I needed to keep my chest onto the floor so my back wasn't on the floor, and I needed to make sure that he couldn't grab any of my extremities to then pin me. So I just kept my arms in and I kept my legs in. Every time he got close, I just tried to worm my way out. Was there any strategy behind it? No. Was I thinking about anything? Not really. It's just, ooh, that feels like it's a bad position. Let's not go there. But I didn't know what a good position was or how to transition between any of these positions. And because there wasn't any constraints given in the game, the movement space was far too vast for me to understand really what I was meant to be doing. Like, I knew I meant to get his back on the floor, but I don't know how to do that. So I would have appreciated some sort of constraints added to the game. Constraints being restrictions of movement, or in a starting position that is similar or familiar, or maybe giving an advantage to one or the other so you can swap roles. But yeah, it was better than me doing decontextualized training. So I would say that was a step forwards for me, because I felt like I was learning some things. I was getting into some positions. I'm like, there's no point continuing because I don't know what to do or what to do here. Like, I'm in a bad position. I recognize I'm in a bad position, and I can't do anything. So to me, I've lost. Like, I can't do anything from here. You're gonna win, so I might as well just tap and carry on. Like, I was stopping them from finishing it. So maybe that's negative for them in training, but I'm not going to put up active resistance apart from just worming around, which to me is pointless. Like, me jumping up and down is pointless to me. And so that's how I felt about those exercises. And then we moved on to some randori practice, which that's where I got my foot stood on. And I learned another lesson here. When I say no, as in I'm physically exhausted, no, I need to stick with that. So the first one that I did was with the blue belt, that with my toe, and I was going, like I mentioned, I was going into this session fatigued. I was going in tired, and through the session, obviously, I'm doing more work. I'm doing everything else, and I'm getting more and more tired. After the fight with the blue belt, that was, like I say, I think 3 minutes. I won it, which was great. I then sat down. I then for a white belt, another white belt. Now he was smaller than the blue belt, but way stronger up top. I think he was probably about the same weight, but he was shorter, so he was stockier. And I could feel as soon as he was grabbing me, I just had nothing to pull against. It was almost like I'm just sort of throwing him off. Um, and I got him down a couple of times. He got me down way more. But what I did learn during that randori, even though I was extremely tired and he threw me a lot, is when I was trying, I don't remember what it's called, Osotogari, maybe Toshi, don't remember. But when I try and do it left hand, if I try and do it with the right leg, it didn't work a lot. I tried it in lots of different ways and it didn't work. And that is what I tried to do. Like, when going into a randori, it is so open, and again, there are no constraints in it. It's just go. I Because it's such a big open space, I don't know what the like. I know the target is to get their back on the floor, but it feels too open. Like, and so when we're going one way or when we're going the other way, I don't know where the target should be. So what I did mentally is go, okay, I'm going to try and do these things and find out when these things are effective, when these things are not effective. Against the blue belt, I couldn't really do this because they were much taller than me, their arms were longer, and I was just fingers crossed, defend, and then see if I can get him down, which I managed to, but I think it was more he made a mistake and I capitalized. But with the person with the white, I I made lots of mistakes, but now I know that this doesn't work in these ways. And that's where I feel the randori sessions could be guided a bit more with the constraints that could be added to the session. So maybe focus on a couple of types of sweeps. So focusing on sweeps or restricting the area in a different way, or restricting hand movements, or maybe focusing on hand movements. Maybe you need at least two hands on before you can throw, or one hand on, or this throw is worth 5 points, that throw is worth 1 point, so there is some guidance. Because the white belt that was against me was essentially did the same throw multiple times, and I couldn't work out how to defend against it, and there was no space or time after he'd thrown me 3 or 4 times to troubleshoot that. And it was the same kind of throw, like it felt the same kind of throw as the big guy that threw me on the Saturday. And I'm like, there must be a way to defend this. There must be something that I'm not doing. But I can't troubleshoot that until I have someone there doing it on me and me trying to work out how to avoid it, apart from just going around in circles, which to me seems silly. Then I did a few other fights, and then it got to a black belt right at the end, and I understand why they didn't try and take me down. Like, the time they got me on my back was me again testing this thing to see if it worked. It didn't. I understood why. And something else I did learn is I I got myself into the same sort of position multiple times where I have used my left leg to get their right leg, but I can't move it any further up. I can't get it out of the way because it's kind of like in between my legs. And so that is something I would want to explore. That's an area, like a movement space I would want to explore more, but I don't know where or how to do that. It's almost like I need to create a game to explore that movement to see if it's effective. If it is, great, I need to work out how. If it's not, great, I need to work out why not and what to do slightly differently. And there were lots of those times in the randoris that I'm experiencing these things. I'm like, okay, great, this is something I can work on. This is a movement space that I need to try and explore and understand better. But then it just doesn't appear again. And that's the frustrating feeling I have at the moment. It's I can see the things that I want to explore, but I need to create the games and the situations to do that, which, yeah, I need to work out how to do that.